Good morning, gang. We have gone here from about 39, 40 degrees Celsius to about 17 today in the course of just a couple of days. And we're going to be climbing again during the week. So it's very unusual cyclic weather, which I don't mind actually. Just means that you have to have the summer wardrobe and the winter wardrobe easily accessible and be able to dress in layers so that you can make choices. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card today. Number 6. There we are. The Lovers. Isn't that gorgeous? Now my cards, as you probably, if you have them, you will know, are a little bit more abstract than say a Rider-Waite or any of the other ones, because I want you to be able to intuitively work with them, not just read them like they're a children's colouring book. You know, with the Rider-Waite, if you get stuck, you can always say, oh well, there's a yellow dress and there's 2 people and there's a tree, and you can make up some kind of story. But mine aren't like that. They are full of symbols. So yes, you can work with the story, but it's more likely to come from a spiritual vocabulary than from just determining colours and shapes. Okay, so because this is about love, Gemini is the ruling planet, of course, and this card, not just about love, it's about choices to be made. It's also a card of mission. What are you doing with your life? A card of welcoming people and yourself with forgiveness. No matter what, no judgment here. It's a time to choose what's right for you. And this is not just about relationships, it could be about work. It doesn't matter what the choices are, it's a time for choices. You may meet a new love. You might be offered a new and exciting position after months and months and months of searching. And there will be choices to be made regarding who you associate with. This is a time of new beginnings, casting off the old, beginning with the new. Remember, your purpose is greater than whatever your pain is. That's a big thought, isn't it? It's a time to discover what you stand for. Fall in love with your purpose. A lot of people say to me that they are looking for a passion. You can't do that. A passion grows. I was reading the story of that girl who won the bake-off. I always thought that the bake-off was about baking, but it's not, it's about fame. But there's a girl called Nadia who comes from Pakistan, and I think she was one of the first non-English people to win the bake-off, and it was a really interesting voyage for her. And she had an arranged marriage and was the dutiful wife until she started with the bake-off. And she had to really, in the process of that show, I'm sorry if this offends your academic and intellectual capacity, but in the course of that show, she really grew in making decisions and determinations, and she had to make changes at home that were more accommodating to her, which she'd never done before. And when she won, she said that she would never underestimate herself. She would never say no to herself or I can't do it. She would not use that way of thinking ever again, because she had gone through this process and learned that she was greater than she ever thought she was. Goodness me, if a cooking show can do this for you. And she found her passion. Her passion was cooking, yes, baking, yes, but she loved people. So her forte has become showing people what she does. She's very good with people. And recently, when she the bake-off cake she won with was a cake that she baked to celebrate a second union with her husband. To say to him that, yes, the first wedding was arranged. She'd never met her husband. It was arranged. She trusted her parents and her parents-in-law that it was a good choice. As luck would have it, it was a good choice. And she had 2 or 3 children. And when she won the bake-off, it was a cake that she baked thinking about a second marriage where she would make a choice to marry her husband again, which she has recently done. And she said, I would do it even again. So she didn't come to her passion in the beginning. And how many do you see, how many relationships do you see fail where people fall in love, which is actually falling in lust, and it doesn't last. One hiccup, one problem, one hurdle, and they quit. Because divorce is easy. It's easier than taking a purchase back to a store. So why would they continue? They don't. People just don't. The Bible has got a lot to say about love. In Peter, it says, above all, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins. Not just fake love, not just, oh, be sweet to her with flowers, no. Real love. Hardly anybody knows what that means anymore. John says, my command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Corinthians, and now these 3 remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. And Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. First you have to love yourself, then love your neighbor as yourself. This card, when you pull this card, it indicates a major decision is going to be involved. And it's a decision about you, or decision about you that's coming or is just around the corner. So prepare for a major decision. And it's a decision you can't make without thinking of the spiritual. So it's really, really important that you take some spiritual guidance. Do your homework, read, discover a grace-filled group. That could be a church or some kind of a group that is spiritually whole. Something that will replenish your soul and help you in this move forward. the heart is foremost in overcoming the temptations of the physical. Not lust, but love. Something that, like when we talked in the Purusharthas, not just duty, like, oh, I've got to do that, or I suppose I better do it because she's my wife, or, oh, well, I'll do it, but none of that. Love is not like that at all. I have a friend, he's has Asperger's, so his social skills are not brilliant. And for a long while, years and years and years and years and years, he wanted to get married. And kept on telling me about this. And, because he's autistic, he really doesn't understand what that means. And I sat down with him one day and I said, well, who do you want to marry? And he said, anybody who will say yes. It was a simple answer. He just wanted to experience what it was like. Shortly after that, he met somebody who said yes. And luckily he's got a lot of friends, and we didn't get together and converse, but apparently we all said to him, this is a time that you've got to really pay attention, because the law says this and the law says that, and you're putting a lot of things at risk by making a decision that you don't understand. Visit your lawyer, visit your accountant, and make your decision based on intellectual examination, because we knew he wasn't cut out to make a love evaluation. He doesn't have that key in his system. And so he decided after a while that he wouldn't get married. And I think he's come to that decision overall, that he doesn't understand it, and it wouldn't be good for him to do that without the understanding. Later on, he might decide to have a companionship relationship, and he would understand that, I think. So, there is somebody for everybody, but it mightn't be the television or film or celebrity version of love with the 30,000 roses and the train that goes all down the church steps and 17 flower girls. That mightn't be what it's about. Don't forget that those people, after they've had this spectacular wedding, have to come back to their ordinary lives and live their ordinary jobs in the ordinary world. It might be very difficult after years of planning this spectacular occasion. Dealing with pregnancy and nappies and babies who, appetite at one end and no responsibility at the other. It's quite different, isn't it? So when you have this love card, it's a time to make decisions. And it's not just a physical lust decision, it's a body, mind and spirit decision. Emotional, yes, but academic, yes. Everything taken into account. Find a mentor. When the student is ready, the teacher will come. When you meditate on this card, get out your fantastic meditation journal. How are you feeling about the card? Once again, the Madonna question, what would you do if you were God? What occurs to you while you meditate? Write it down. Was it sounds? Was it visions? Was it an inner knowing? Was it something that you could only say to your journal? Say it to your journal and think about it. Tell the story of this card as you have experienced it. It's a very, very profound card. Maybe for you, excuse me, one of the most important cards in the deck today. Namaste. Go forth in peace to love and serve the Lord, whatever that means to you.